Hello, my name is Carlos Rosado, and joining me is CBS Sports analyst, NFL analyst, and Madden commentator Charles Davis. Now, Mr. Davis, before we begin, I want to talk about your unconventional rise through the broadcast rankings. And let's go back all the way to when you were a quarterback at New Paltz High School. You committed to the University of Tennessee because one of your favorite players, Condridge Holloway, you grew up idolizing him. What does the Artful Dodger mean to you?
He means everything. I saw Condridge Holloway play when I was 8 or 9 years old. Season opener, Tennessee, UCLA, at Tennessee in Knoxville. And Condridge was just sensational. And even though I was young, I knew enough that I'm watching a black quarterback play, and I knew that was unusual even then. So I was like, there's something going on here. And he was sensational. He actually got hurt in that game. They took him to the hospital, brought him back. He ran through the tunnel, place went crazy, went out in the field, took the team down. They scored a touchdown. He dives in for the 2-point conversion to tie the game back then when we had tie ball games. And I was hooked. From that moment on, I wanted to go to the University of Tennessee. I wanted to play quarterback, wear number 7, like Condridge Holloway, who was the first black starting quarterback in the SEC.
I never knew love before. Then came you. Your first broadcast was the 1987 University of Tennessee orange and white game with the late, great John Ward. What do you remember about that opportunity?
Well, I remember my eligibility had run out after the 1986 season, so I was still in school, finishing up my first year of grad school. I played my senior year as a graduate student. So I graduated in 4 years, had a redshirt year, came back and played that season in grad school. So now I'm around, I'm done, eligibility's over. And Carlos, when you're done as a player, you don't hang around the locker room anymore, right? You don't hang around all that. But I knew everyone on the team because we were going to do the spring game. And they asked me if I would do the spring game on radio with Mr. Ward. His normal partner, Mr. Bill Anderson, wasn't going to be there. And they thought that'd be kind of cool. And I thought that'd be great because I already knew all the players. So I bopped over nothing. Zip, zilch, nada. I know these guys. And Mr. Ward, the consummate professional, the consummate communicator, he knew that was going to happen because he knew kids, what do they know about studying? They don't know the business, the whole deal. So we actually had a second set of boards and charts that he did for his own, for himself and his own bride. Had a second set made and had it waiting for me. And that was my gentle rebuke and critique from him. And he let me know in a very good way, a gentle way, that you don't show up unprepared. And he was a mentor of mine throughout my career, throughout the rest of his life. And to honor him, I started sending him postcards from every game I would work, whatever city I was in, I'd send him a postcard. And when he passed away at his celebration of life, in his belongings were all the postcards I'd sent him. He kept every one of them. And I'm telling you, when I heard that, I lost it. Because his impact on me was phenomenal and huge. The idea that I'd have a small, but that was just my way of being able to say thank you every week for not giving up on me, for showing up unprepared the first day, and then teaching me how to prepare, how to learn, how to research, how to get better at my craft, how to work on mastering the English language, all of those sorts of things. That all came from that day doing the spring game, Carlos, with Mr. John Ward, God rest his soul.
Rest in peace to the late, great John Ward. It's amazing that you found someone that helped you just as much as he did. Once again, I'm here with Charles Davis, analyst for both the NFL Network and CBS Sports. Other NFL analysts consist of Pro Bowlers and Super Bowl champions and Super Bowl MVPs and even Super Bowl winning coaches. But you're the second premier analyst on Fox. How did you end up there?
Well, CBS now at one point, yes, it was that network. Yeah. That's a great question. And I think a lot of it is in as is everything in life, there's a certain element to timing. There's a certain element to that you have to devote to good fortune. And then, of course, the hard work, your efforts, your willingness to get better at your craft, your willingness to be critiqued and work on getting better at different things, your general knowledge, presentation, all those things. And it just depends on who's doing the hiring, because it's a very subjective business. But how I got to number 2 when I was out there, they brought in Jay Cutler, the quarterback, who would play, I think he was leaving the Bears and deciding to retire. And that was after Tony Romo had hit really big at CBS. So everyone was looking for their own Tony Romo, and they thought, wow, Jay Cutler, he's edgy and you never know what he'll say, and we'll do that. But they hedged their bet because they asked me to go in the booth with him. Bottom line was they were hedging their bets as an organization, as a company, with someone they knew was competent, they knew would be a good team player, that they knew would help support Jay and give him the whatever you want to call that I have, but mainly support and maybe he would learn something about the business, whatever, without however it came about. But Jay Cutler ended up getting an offer from the Dolphins because Ryan Tannehill blew out his knee in training camp, so he never got to the booth. So I was on the number 2 team. I'm pretty darn sure, not pretty darn sure, I know that they tried their best and racked their brains to see if they could bring in someone else, and it didn't quite work out. So I became the number 2 guy and went at it and attacked it. As Mr. Jack Harbaugh, the national championship winning coach at Western Kentucky and the father of Jim and John Harbaugh would say, I attacked each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
How would you encourage anyone facing uncommon paths trying to reach their goals?
Be very clear. The word we're using a lot now, Carlos, is intentional. Sometimes I just wonder if we fall into way too many buzz phrases. To me, it's just being very clear and understanding what you want, what you're trying to achieve. I'm a person who writes down my goals. I've been doing that for I don't know how many years now. And I'll write down my goals. Typically, the time frame I'm looking for is New Year's Eve every year. I'll sit down and write out my goals for the next year. I keep my goal sheet with me everywhere I go. Let's see. I don't even know if I have it here close to me right now, but in any event, hold on a second, Carlos. So I keep it with me and it travels with me everywhere I go. You probably can't see it well. Goals, personal plan, 2022 right there. And you see all this writing on it. I kind of keep track during the year of how it's going, what I'm doing. Should I keep doing this? Did that happen? Who did I meet with? Blah, 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 blah. And I keep that every year. And I review it for the year. And then I say, okay, are the things I didn't accomplish this year that were on my goal sheet, should they be on my goal sheet next year? Typically, if I had it 2 years in a row and I still didn't accomplish it, it must not have been that important. So I typically let it go and go on to something else. But having a clear plan, a vision of what I want to accomplish and do, I think that's helped me in a big way. That's helped me get to where I am now, and hopefully will continue to help me stay here and maybe find some other places to go and try and have some success. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Be very clear about what you want. A great coach once said, live in your hopes and dreams, not your fears. That coach was my college football coach, Johnny Majors. Live in your hopes and dreams, not in your fears.
When Mr. Gus gave me this opportunity, I told him I wanted to interview Charles Davis because of your preseason coverage with the Tennessee Titans, but you're also a legend where I'm from.
You're very kind. You're very kind. Carlos, thank you very much for doing this. Thank you for taking this time. I think you did a wonderful job in preparation, and I'm gonna leave your instructors to give you everything else. But I give you an absolute A for preparation, for respect, for adhering to craft, for all of those things. Thank you so much for doing that. And it's been very, very nice meeting you, and hope to meet you in person in the not too distant future, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. My name is Carlos Rosado, and thank you for watching this.